This is a clear of the game Sorcer Striker, the first loop, without using any continues. This game is available on PlayStation 4 and 5 from the Japanese PlayStation Network store. You can make a Japanese account, add a gift card, download the game to your PlayStation 4 or 5, and then you can actually play it with your non-Japanese account. That version is really nice. I don't have a PlayStation 4 or 5, so I'm playing it on an emulator, the Fightcade FBNeo emulator, because it's what I had handy. I picked the character Bornham. He is a lot of fun to play as. I also like playing as Miyamoto. This game is the international release. So in Japan, it's called Maho Daisakusen, and it's harder in the later stages compared to this version. I'm going to give that version a try as well, because I think I can maybe do it, but I started with this one because it's just a better starting challenge for me. I have 1 credit clears of not that many games at all. I really like Zero Ranger, and if you've never played a shooting game before, I really highly recommend it, or even if you have, I still really highly recommend it. It's a great game. I have some videos of that one on my channel. This game, I really like the art and presentation and setting. I mean, just look at this turtle. So cool, I think. So that's why I wanted to play this game, and I didn't know before that there was a little bit of an easier version, so that's good for me. One thing I should mention as well is that I am using an autohotkey script for this game, so it does 2 things, neither of which is really that crazy. The first thing it has is a 15 shots per second autofire, which was not included in the original arcade release, but it is included in the PlayStation 4 re-release. Actually, you can pick from a couple of different speeds. 15 shots per second is a good one because there's a limit to how many bullets can be on screen at the same time. If you go absolutely as high as you can, the bullets get clumped, there's gaps in between, and a human can't really mash that fast anyway. 15 shots per second, a human can mash about that fast. It's pretty good spread, and it's just better for your hands, and it's also not that much stronger than if you were just tapping the button, just there to save your hands mostly. The other thing that the script does is push the button once to start firing and push again to stop, instead of holding the button down the whole time. That helps my hands too. This guy, this mini-boss, is called Bassinet, and if you just blow up the sides, he flies away, but if you leave one of the sides alive, you can blow up the middle. I don't know what it does, but I figure blowing up stuff is good. I love the little people cheering for you. Just the backgrounds and art in this game are so great. So right now I'm using Wide Shot. There are 3 sub-weapons that you can pick in this game, and they're different for each character. So Bornham's Wide Shot are these like bird-shaped things. And taking down this boss real quick. The scoring in this game, you get points for blowing things up, and that guy spawns guys, so if you really want to milk the maximum amount of points out of him, you leave him alive and blow up the guys that he spawns for extra points. But you don't get that many more. And you get an extra life every 300,000 points. And you obviously want to blow up almost all the enemies anyway, so the scoring, while not as good as it could have been in this run, is pretty close, just because of the nature of the scoring system. You also get points for picking up power-ups when you're already at maximum power. So besides the sub-weapon, which has 3 levels, 3 different kinds, and you can be level 1, level 2, or level 3, there's also the main shot, which has 6 levels. And you need 10 coins. Those bags there are coins, and each bag has 4 coins in it. 10 coins gets you to 1 below the max level, and then 12 more coins gets you to the max level. At this point, I'm at max power. And good thing too, because this section is, I would say, the first section of the game that's pretty tricky, or at least a little bit tricky. Like, if you're sitting in the wrong spot on the screen, this gun might take you out. And there's a lot of things to take down, and you want to do it before they, you know, fill the screen with too many bullets. So, there's also a screen clearing bomb that you can use. Right now, I'm hoarding them. And coming up, there's some boxes, and each of these has a bomb in it. I mix one of them. So right now I only have 8. You could have 9 at this point. But I'm keeping them for later in the game. And although this section is, I would say, the first section that is tricky, I usually don't need to bomb it. If you stand at this part of the screen against these guys, none of the bullets are aimed at you, so you can take them out. And pretty much same for here. If you stay here, you can hit everything and you just have to dodge those little turret guys, which is not a big deal. And with wide shot, you can take everything down like this with Bornham. But the strategy changes depending on which ship you picked and which sub-weapon you have, so I enjoyed playing through the game a couple times with different ships and different sub-weapons and figuring out some cool strategies and things. This section is the last one before the boss, and I've definitely died there, because it's like, you think about the boss and oops, you got clipped by one of those guys. But I just want to share a fact about this boss. The name of the boss is Skull Howard III. So that's fun. And as long as we're sharing names, there's also, for one of the characters, Chitta, her ship is called the Gundolf, her magical ship. So that's also, you know, cute. I like it. I'm a fan. This game is cool. So the attacks that the bosses pick are pretty random. Like, they each have like 5 or so attacks. This guy never did his ramming attack before he died, which is normally I would shoot off the wings when he does that and get a couple extra points. But I'm totally willing to just take the boss down a little sooner instead. This stage, aesthetically, I really like. And it's something that I like about this game is that every stage is like very memorable. And even when I hadn't played the game for a while, and I picked it back up again recently, I still remembered, like, oh, it's the cool... I remember, you know, the dungeon stage with the trip lasers that you, like, touch them and then they activate the traps, you know? So, and I really just enjoyed the level design visually and also gameplay-wise. So these guys here drop bombs. Each of them drops 1 bomb. I have 8 bombs now. And you'll see that the counter will stick at 9. So it says 9 in the UI, but actually I am holding 10 bombs. The counter only counts up to 9, but the game does keep track of as many bombs as you can carry. So I'm going to be hoarding them all until stage 4, the second half of the game. The game is 6 stages long. And then I'm going to start using them. So here you don't want to go forwards, even though the wall is going to crush you, because these guys will spawn and totally kill you if you do. So this game does have a little bit of, like, figuring out, like, okay, don't go there, and things like that, but it's still mostly about the execution of the thing. So here's Bastionet again. He's back. We blew him up at stage 1, but back for revenge. And for example, this attack, if you've never seen it before, you don't know how it works at all. So you see it a couple times just to figure out how it works, so you go around like that and you won't get hit. And that is just a small part of the game. That water effect is really cool. And now the second half of the stage is fish and things, and because Bastionet broke the dam. Just really cool levels. Love those sea turtles. I love all the turtle enemies in this game. A ton. So yeah, just a small amount of learning, and then you can just play. and try some different things. Sometimes you have the right strategy and you just need to learn how to do it a little better. Sometimes it's best to try something completely different. For example, up here, there are some snake enemies coming up soon. Just got my first extend there. But with the snake enemies coming up, I figured out eventually that it's best to switch to F here, the front shot sub-weapon, because it just destroys these snakes way better than the wide shot does. So, a little bit of experimentation and stuff like that, and a little bit of trying the same things until you sort of master them, so it's a, I don't know, decent mix. This genre can be pretty punishing at times, and that is definitely a thing that holds me back from playing it more. Both in the, oh, you didn't know about that, you died, like, point of view, and also the, oh, you haven't practiced for dozens of hours, you died, also point of view. So you gotta play a lot, and you kind of gotta keep playing the same game, too. I mean, you can jump around a little, but ultimately it does demand a lot, and it's like, hey, you not only have to play the same game a bunch, when you're trying to put it all together, you want to do all of this stuff in a row without making too many mistakes. And the games are a little bit longer than something like a Tetris, which I do play a lot. But ultimately, they're just cool, and I want to play them, so I'm willing to put up with some of the bad stuff to get to the good stuff. Front shot also destroys that boss super hard. So he has a couple attacks that he didn't use, like one where he walks down the wall and wiggles at you. But that's another reason why I switched to front shot there. And now for this stage, I would love to switch back to wide shot, but there are no wide shot power-up books anywhere in this stage. So I do the next best thing and I switch to homing, because there's a lot of these little guys in the stage, and homing is a little bit better at taking them down than front shot is. This stage is where the game starts to get kind of hard, so I am going to start using bombs when I need them. Those enemies are so cool. I wish there were more of them, and I wish I didn't kill them so quick, but I don't want them to shoot at me, you know? So, it's alright. I really like the music in this game too, it's quite good. It's not as good as Rising's later game, Battle Gureka, where they got a different composer, which is some of my favorite video game music, like maybe ever, but still good. These guys are really cool. So that guy in the back, because he didn't die, he's gonna take up a bunch of my attention, meaning that the other guy doesn't get his wings blown off, and because he doesn't get his wings blown off, he throws the big spread at me. That spread is pretty hard to dodge, so I decide to bomb it instead of trying to dodge it and just risk everything for no reason. Just spending a resource is a skill too, one that I'm very bad at, so that's something that definitely helped me get the clear, is me improving in that area. Here we go into space. So cool! Big fan. So this section is pretty difficult, and this is what I really want wide shot for. And it's almost, I would say, worth, or maybe in fact it is worth, not taking front shot for the snakes, just to keep wide shot for that section. But I managed to get through it, so it doesn't really matter, just a personal preference thing. If you stay behind the rocket here, you do get smushed and die. So sometimes you learn these things. Who's in the capsule? Who could it be? It's Bassinet again. I love his little musical sting. I love his little helper guys in the back there who brought him his cool spaceship. So right here I am staring at those cannons, and I did not see those bullets coming at all. So the fact that they missed is just like complete luck. I just happened to be moving to the left at that time. But I'm staring at the tips of the cannons because there's a visual cue right there. They're about to fire and blast. So I was just ignoring everything else, looking for that so I know to move out of the way when it happens. And again, the attacks that the guy chooses are quite varied. So might get that, might get some other stuff, but that attack is the main one that you need to be ready to dodge. Bornham is so weird, man. Just as a human, but he's fun to play. I've been at max power this whole time since stage 2. If you die, you go back down 2 shot levels. So all of your main shots are a lot weaker until you can pick up 4 more coins, which is 1 bag. So if you die, you want to do your best until you get to a bag, and then fly on top of the bag, shoot it, pick up all the coins, and then you're back to 1 below max power, which isn't too bad. But if you don't manage to do that, and you die again, now you're basically the lowest shot level, and you're probably just going to die a bunch more times because that's very weak, you're not going to be able to kill the enemies, and they're just going to fill the screen with bullets, blow you up over and over, and you'll die. The end. So it's really best to use your bombs as much as possible, and if you do get hit once, to try to play really well in order to recover. I switched to homing here because this next section up here, homing is very good against it. These things on the side, Bornham homing just takes the perfect right angle turn and hits them and kills them easily. If you don't have homing, you gotta kinda move around these protrusions which block the shots, and then get close to those guys to blow them up. Which is totally doable, it's not that difficult even, but it is not something that I want to be doing when I can also change sub-weapons to do it that way, which is something that I figured out after some experimentation. These guys have a lot of health, and some wizards are going to come up, so you gotta dodge those shots while you're blowing up these guys. This stage, and all of these later stages, are kind of difficult. Like those guys there who throw the ball and chain at you. The first time that you play, you just don't know how they work. It's pretty fast, they blow me up. But once you know what they're doing, experiment, try some stuff out, it's, you figure out, like, for example, at this part, like, kill the tanks a little bit, but wizards are going to keep on coming out from the right. So you got to keep on heading over to the right to kill the wizards and then come back and blow up the tanks. So there's a mix of, you know, figuring things out strategically and then, like, executing that strategy. And if it's too inconsistent, figuring out, is this something I can practice, or is there a better strategy, or can I change sub-weapons or change ships completely? You know, a lot to chew on, so it's definitely more fun to mix in some checkpoint practice with the full runs. At this point, I have about, I don't know, maybe like 14 bombs or something. So I'm not very good at spending those bombs. This part I figured out you just stay in the middle and you get a little bit of a breather. These guys are a little bit tricky because they have a lot of health, and these patterns are definitely dodgeable, but they can be a little bit inconsistent. The hitbox on the ship is a little bigger than something like a Toho or some other game from the 2000s. So this guy who's coming up on the left right here is a planned bomb. I just bombed this guy because it's too close, I don't want to mess up that dodge, I have enough bombs. And I'm not very good at seeing that there's a problem and bombing, so it's better for me if I plan it ahead of time, or at least it helps me out. So this up here is an unplanned bomb. I normally handle that guy a little bit better, but I kind of got forced out from under him, so I wasn't shooting at him and he didn't die as quick and he was kind of filling the screen with bullets, so I fired the bomb. The bomb doesn't make you invincible in this game immediately. It has to actually fly forwards and go off first before you become invincible. So it's important to bomb early. And the bullets are a little bit quicker than, again, something like a Toho, so you really do have to have a lot of foresight to see that things are going badly and bomb early enough to get the invulnerability. Although, you can hit the bullets and then it goes off instantly, but you can't count on that happening. So against this guy, my plan is, when he does that bullet spread attack, to just bomb. Once it... Like, I delay the bomb as much as I can before it gets hairy, but then I bomb. So this fight has gone a little badly because I accidentally blowed up both of the dragon heads in front instead of just one. So you blow up just one, when he shoots those skulls, he only shoots 3. But once you blow up both, he starts shooting 5. So now I have to dodge around the skulls rather than through them, which sends me away from him, which means I'm not doing as much damage. So I decided to hang out under him here and try to dodge the 5 skulls like that. I did 2 or 3 really clutch dodges there, but that was, I think, dumb of me. I should have just kept on going around, stopped doing damage for a little bit, but a lot more consistent. But I was getting a little bit nervous that it didn't quite go the way I wanted. But I still got through without dying at all. This stage is my favorite, visually. It's so cool. I love... We'll see why I love it in a second, but first, this guy. So, after some experimentation, I found that switching back to wide shot worked best for him, because it blows up the sides a lot more easily. And now you can sit to the side like this and still hit him without being in the path of the flames here. He doesn't shoot the fireballs when he's jumping, so you can kind of move under him at that time. And I foolishly cornered myself, but no problem. I love how they throw the coins and the power-ups and all these things. It's so neat. I just really like that. I think that's awesome. I haven't seen anything like that in a shmup before. This guy, I think, is the most, like, you just have to learn what he does, and once you do, he's, like, not that hard. You have to make sure that those chain balls, like, when they shake a little bit, they're going at you, and then you gotta direct them so that they don't block you off, because if you touch the chain, you also get killed. It's bad. So, I bomb that pattern. He shoots this bullet spread. Sometimes, actually, he doesn't do it every time, but I got a little nervous, so I just bombed it right away instead. And that's the only pattern I'm not super... Like, I can dodge it, but with it being this late into the game, and I really don't want to die because I'm holding so many bombs, so I would lose them all, my shot power would go down, and I really need it, so I'm using the bombs. So for example, against this guy, this pattern, I don't bomb. There's one other attack that I don't bomb. Every other attack I'm going to bomb. So, like, I can dodge them, but it's just too inconsistent. So you've seen the only 2 attacks I'm not going to bomb. Every other attack that he does, I'm going to bomb it. By the way, oh no, I died. Yeah, that's right. Because I hit the bomb button too early. So the other bomb was still going off, so my next bomb didn't come out, and I died. So that was bad. And I died twice. So my shot level is quite low now, but they are throwing these coins at me, but I missed one. So my shot level is way lower than it would normally be. This up here, I'm not 100% sure that it's 100% safe, but I've never actually been killed up there. So, pretty safe. Here's Bastionet once again. He blew up his little helpers. Let's try to take him down with much lower shot power than normal. Although this guy is not that crazy difficult, the ninja is definitely the hardest bit. I was about to mention that Miyamoto's whole story is he wants to kill the ninja as revenge for something, killing his master. So one bonus about the shot level going down is there's only one of those little spinny things there. The higher your shot level is, it slightly influences the difficulty of the game. Also, when you die, it very, very, very slightly, besides lowering your shot level, also lowers the difficulty of the game. So I lowered the difficulty enough that that guy was only firing one spinny thing instead of two. But mostly he's still the same as before. He's just taking much, much longer to die, so it's really not worth having a lower shot level. He would be dead by now, absolutely, if I had not died to the ninja. So that was a sketchy dodge, but I managed it. Well, anyway, I blow him up. There's his arm. So now I've gone back up to the next shot level. Final boss in the Japanese version is very hard, very fast bullets, lots of bullets. In this version, a lot more approachable. So this is one below the max shot level, which is plenty good enough for this guy. I have 4 lives. I have 3 bombs. If I die on this guy, which is somewhat likely, this is the Goblagon King. If I die, I get a couple more bombs, and he's the last guy, so... And I'm pretty good at dodging all of these attacks, except for one of them. So I'm trying to blow up all these eyes at the same time, but I kind of mess up, so that eye gets blown up way before the other two. Once the eye gets blown up, it starts doing that bullet spread attack, which is a little hard to dodge. So I'm going to start bombing it. And these hands can also be hard to dodge if you get on the wrong side of them. They kind of track you, so ideally you want to be really close to the guy and then go backwards. But yeah, now that all 3 of these guys are shooting bullets, it's a little hard to dodge them. So I'm bombing them, but I still get blown up because I don't have that many bombs anymore. But now I have 3 lives, my shot level is really quite low, but this guy's almost dead, so I should be able to defeat him. Oops, died again, it's getting dicey. Now my shot level is at the absolute minimum, so if you're any earlier in the game and this happens, you're pretty much screwed, but I'm so close to the end that I think it's doable. But man, he is still just taking forever to die as a result of those deaths on my part, but there we go. By the way, a trick to those bullet spreads is the yellow bullets are the fastest, so concentrate on the yellow bullets, try to dodge those, but it's still pretty tricky. Okay, good, says Bornham. So yeah, you're coming back to the kingdom, everyone's cheering for you. I draw a little heart here, very fun. And that's Sorcer Striker. So I hope you liked it. What's this? Bassinet back one more time. And I realize at this point, oh crap, I have no shot power. So I fly around. I've never been in that situation before. The bombs go backwards, kill me. I only have 1 extra ship left, but I spend all my bombs and manage to kill this guy, because I am not losing to him. But yeah, that was a lot closer than I wanted it to be. I got an extra life at the end there, so I have 2 at the end, but really I only had 1. I could have died 1 more time, and then that would have been my last life after that. So yeah, this is the ending. Every character has a different ending. This guy is not very nice. He's the new ruler of the world. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you did. This is the second loop here, so when you finish the game, it does loop again, much harder. In the uncommentated version of the video, linked in the comments, I will include the rest of this second loop. I'm going to end this video here because, truthfully, the second loop is very similar to the first one, and then I get to the second stage, I start seeing some patterns I haven't seen before, and they just kill me. But if you want to watch it, you're welcome to. Otherwise, hope you have a good rest of your day, and thanks for watching.